Yamaha presents the Whitetail Diaries, chronicling hunting adventures of the most plentiful and intelligent big game animal in North America. Join top whitetail hunters nationwide. Embark on the amazing adventure that is hunting the whitetail deer.
You know, I have to sit back at times and think of how absolutely lucky that I have been to go on the adventures that I've gone. I mean, I could never have imagined being a kid growing up in Oklahoma and learning how to hunt, learning how to fish, and skipping school to learn how to do those on some occasions, and where the passion and where the drive would lead me to in my life. And now, to sit in the position that we do and do these hunting shows, I can't tell you how exciting it is, because I've got to do so many things all my life, and I absolutely still love to hunt my own self, and I do. But my other passion is obviously taking other people hunting and watch them experience it, watch them learn from it. Be it a young kid for their first time, be it a female hunter for the first time, be it guys coming from overseas, and sharing the experience with them in the outdoors is something that I never take for granted now. But when I get to go hunting, I'm still that little kid that grew up in Oklahoma that would sit on a 2x4 or something like that and would ride his bicycle to ponds and go fish. I get just as excited now as I did when I was a little kid.
Every hunter who's ever taken a trophy whitetail buck glances up at his mounts, and a flood of memories comes rushing back to the day that guy stepped into his crosshairs. On today's show, we're taking a look back at some of host Wade Middleton's favorite bucks that he's taken in with the Whitetail Diaries crew in tow.
Yeah, so now when I look at things that I get to do in the outdoors, and the passion that goes into setting up our stands, to making of the food plots, to the trips and travels across the nation I've been gone on, the older I get, the more I realize the special treats that we've got to go on, and some of the special hunts that I've been able to go on, and how some of those hunts, you know, have been. And I look back on each one of these and every one of these with unique perspectives and interesting things. And I look at the mounts around the ranch and the places that we've hung them now, or in my office, and I can tell you the stories behind each one of them, that when I look at them or when I look at a picture of the hunt. And you know, for instance, the biggest deer that I ever shot in my life, you know, I can remember the freezing temperatures of sitting on the ground at the Bass Ranch, and just, I mean, literally from my toes to my nose was brutally cold, and I'm a guy that gets cold all the time out there, and nothing's moving, you know, and it just looks like it's a bust of a hunt. And we're a few days into the hunt, and we jump in the truck, we're driving, and lo and behold, as can happen at a moment's notice, a doe runs across, and two giant bucks are running across behind him, and we're jumping out of the truck, just fumbling and banging into things. And as the deer are running off into the brush, and I've got this glimpse of them, it's like, wow, that's the biggest deer that I've personally ever had in my crosshairs running away. And the guide's already tugging me, saying, we got to run, we've got to go this way. If they can clear this cut right here, they're gonna step out in another sendero, and if we can get around the way the wind's blowing, who knows what'll happen. And I remember running with John Doolin, the cameraman, thinking, I'm gonna be out of breath, he's gonna be out of breath, how are we gonna hold anything steady if we get there? And lo and behold, we got there, no shooting sticks, no nothing. He doesn't have a tripod. The one deer pops out, another deer pops out, he's about to go in the brush. I'm like, you got him? He says, yes, and bang.
Wade put his Nikon scope on the buck and squeezed the trigger.
Good shot.
That's stalking and hauling across. You work a guy to kill these big ones.
That's right, that's right. Woo! I gotta work off breakfast.
He got the cornering away from me the whole time, and I couldn't get a shot, And then when he finally did, I was like, oh, I need him to clear a little more.
Well, that was a heck of a shot.
I've got that deer mounted in my office now in a you know, giant mount that was done for me, and every time I go in my office now, I see that deer. And it's those kind of memories and things when I look at deer hunting that really get me excited. And it's something I think that anybody that looks at a picture successful or failed hunt, or of a mount that they've got, can bring those memories back really quick.
Good deer, all the way around, sir. Good stock.
All right. Yeah, it sure was.
More whitetail hunting action with Wade when the Whitetail Diaries returns. The Yamaha Whitetail Diaries is brought to you in part by Yamaha ATVs and side-by-sides, real world tough. Cabela's, it's in your nature. Garmin, the power of simple. And by Smith & Wesson, made in the USA since 1852.
The Yamaha Viking, and introducing the all-new Viking 6. The hardest working, most off-road capable side-by-sides in America. Built for the hardest working people on earth. You.
Julie Goloski, Smith & Wesson Consumer Program Manager and World Champion Shooter.
Joe Zanetti, Smith & Wesson Finishing Specialist and lifelong hunter.
Jim Dalton, Smith & Wesson Master Gunsmith. I shoot competitively, and so does my son.
Our people, our products, our passion. Smith & Wesson.
What if there was a camera that went where you went and shot what you shot? An action camera so easy to use you can concentrate on your hunt, not the hunt for the record button. A camera that let you add dimensions to your video, like speed, altitude, or even your heart rate, just before you let it fly. Life, camera, action. The Verb Elite HD Action Camera from Garmin.
The Arctic Ice Tundra Series, capable of keeping your food frozen all day long. The Tundra Series is a portable, safe, and reusable alternative ideally suited to replace dry ice. Keep your food as frozen as the Tundra with the Tundra Series from Arctic Ice.
Hey guys, we're here with the Bubba Blade hunting knife. It's a great new piece of steel from Bubba Blade. You can use it as a long knife, cutting or deboning type knife. You can shorten it up for your more delicate skinning type work when you're processing deer, hog, whatever you've killed that day. And the best thing about it is this is a no slip grip. No matter how wet or greasy the sucker gets, you're not going to slip on this blade.
It is razor sharp. It's the cure-all for knives. I mean, it really is. Whether it's deer, fish, I mean, I don't know how many fish I've filleted with one of these. I carry one in my boat. I carry one in my backpack. I mean, everywhere I go, if it's gonna have to do with the outdoors, I've got a Bubba Blade.
Welcome back to the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries with Wade Middleton. Now we're taking a look back at some of Wade's biggest and most memorable hunts he's had with the Whitetail Diaries crew. And not only has he had a chance at some bruisers, but he also gets to try out some of the top-of-the-line gear before it ever hits the racks.
As a little kid, I can remember going into the stores or getting the Cabela's catalog, and you know, it's saving up every penny to get any little thing out there to hunt with. You know, it might just be a little package of 12 duck decoy weights or a new spinnerbait or whatever it may be, and now through luck, hard work, and determination, and having a great team of people around me, I get to see things before the rest of the public ever get to touch them. And I remember, you know, recently Thompson Center launched a brand new rifle platform called the Dimension, and going out to the range and getting to shoot it with some of the biggest names in the industry, and I was kind of in awe. I actually wanted to ask a couple of them for their autograph, but I held back. And you know, and the whole time thinking, wow, I'm here and I've got this brand new rifle and I'm gonna get a field tested and I'm gonna get to go hunting with it before it ever hits the market. And you know, in that particular hunt, when we fast forward, when mine came in and we got it sighted in and we started going out, it was another cold morning. We were set up in a box blind on what's called the 4-way at Lindsay Creek, a ranch that, you know, I've got a tremendous history on. And we're sitting there and there's 2 or 3 bucks kind of milling around and this beautiful 10 points coming out there. And I'm thinking in my mind how lucky I am. I've got this brand new rifle that hasn't been released to the public, and I'm about to take a buck that's gonna be part of the marketing campaign out there. And when I pulled the trigger, I still like the little kid hooting and holler, you know, and wanting to get out of the blind and wanting to go track him and wanting to get my hands on him. And when I look at that deer now hanging out there and I look at the pictures of that deer and everything and I look at everything about it, I'm, you know, once again, I look at it and I'm thinking, man, I'm one of the luckiest men alive to be able to do what I just did here on this buck.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, TC Dimension. Nice buck.
Now, if you're a hunter, you know the disappointment of having a whitetail buck outsmart you. And we watched as one buck took weight on a hunt that lasted over several seasons.
You know, everybody has deer that haunt them, that get away, that take up their emotions and their time and that they obsess on. If you're a deer hunter and you hunt long enough, you're gonna have a deer that you obsess on. And I had a deer like that on the Running Bee Ranch that I obsessed on. I had literally set up on this deer on a late season invite, and the deer came in over the brush and we were kind of unsure of it, and we got a look at it and he got away, and then we went back, talked to the rancher, and he's like, absolutely, that's a great buck, love for you guys to get him. And he was like Casper the Ghost, poof, he'd be there and he'd be gone. He'd be there and he'd be gone. And you know, I don't even know how many days, how many weeks and months that we begin to put into patterning this deer. And it got to be almost comical that, you know, he would show up in this place or that place, or they'd see him on a scouting camera, or the ranch manager would see him and I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Or they'd call me and say, man, we know where he's got a good pattern on him. And I'd be in Wyoming on an antelope hunt or something, who knows. And I couldn't get back down there. And then finally, after I don't know how many different trips and how many different days, had a chance to go back down there, and I was literally within probably 300-400 yards where we had first seen this deer for the very first time in encounter, and we're sitting there up in a tripod that we had specifically moved sometime before to hunt this deer out of. And I had already spent considerable time in this stand and passed several other deer, questioning my sanity every time I'd pass one of these deer. But I you know, when you lock in and obsess on one deer, you want that deer. So sure enough, you know, we're sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, well, we'll be driving home, stop, get us a Whataburger, going home, and lo and behold, here he comes. I mean, almost like on a string out in front of me, coming in, comes in. I've done a lot of TV, and my job is to wait till the cameraman says, got him. This was one of those deals I'm like, I got him. I don't care if you got him, because I got him. And I'm kind of cattywampus up in the stand, taking an angle, got my rifle up, and it's like bang. I don't even know what to say. I've been hunting that deer for 15 times. I mean, that was him. That's the one I've been hunting for so long. Very rarely am I speechless, but I'm kind of speechless right here. I just, the emotions behind that deer, when I look at him on the wall now and I look at that perfect rack and the stories behind it, and the people that had followed that hunt, and the camera guys that I got to share it with, and the ranchers and their team's excitement when we knocked that down. I mean, that deer to me, he's not my biggest deer, but he's by far and away one of the hardest that I've ever hunted for, and one of the most special deer that I've ever hunted for. Look at those antlers right there, baby. Holy cow. Look at this buck. Look at this guy. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's why you set up and hunt one particular big deer and you become obsessed with it. I mean, look at that mule deer forks on this big whitetail. Look at the mass on it. Look at the bases on this deer. I mean, that
is a good deer.
When the Whitetail Diaries returns, we'll head out on Wade's most legendary hunt yet.
If you'd like to keep up with the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries crew, see some of the behind-the-scenes action, as well as be eligible to win some of the prizes, such as the gear we use in the field, it's simple. Go to our Facebook page and give us a like, and one lucky person each year will join us in the field for a great hunt.
When you change the game, you make the rules. Introducing the all-new Stealth SS from 10 Point, the most compact crossbow we've ever created. 10 Point, there is no substitute.
After your next successful deer hunt, savor the flavor with a Bradley Smoker. They have a whole list of creative recipes for venison with a wide variety of delicious smoky wood flavors. Find out more about making your meal as memorable as the hunt at bradleysmoker.com.
Experience High-Vis, a brighter sight picture than standard sights, giving you an immediate, more successful shooting performance. High-Vis lets you see a dramatic contrast between the target and the barrel for a more intuitive aim that delivers instant results. Our light pipes come in a variety of shapes, sizes, and colors, designed to be seen in a variety of conditions. With our broad line of sights, you'll see your marksmanship dramatically improve, bringing more fun and confidence into every shooting experience. Shoot more accurately. Enjoy the sport. Choose High-Vis.
When you pack your cooler for a barbecue or even a tailgate party, be sure to pack it with Chillin' Brew, powered by Arctic Ice. Chillin' Brew in a cooler can keep beer at the perfect drinking temperature longer than ice. Grab some brews and Chillin' Brew today.
When it comes to racing big deer, Purina is the leader in deer nutrition research. Our Antler Max research and development team is committed to developing products that provide results in your deer management program with a difference you can see. If you're ready to take your deer operation to the next level, look no further than Purina's new and improved Antler Max premium deer feeds. You can find them at your local Purina retailer. Purina Antler Max premium deer feed, a difference you can see. Since 1976, Delta Ag has been an industry leader in plant health and nutrition. With our innovative concept and chemistry, Delta Ag produces healthier crops and improves yields. We formulate biostimulants and micronutrients designed to improve fertilizer efficiency and increase crop response to nutrients. Make your fertilizer go further with reliable products that work. Grow healthier crops from the ground up with versatile low-rate products. Delta Ag, improving plant performance. Welcome back to the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries, brought to you in part by Bradley Smoker, food smoking made easy. High-Vis shooting systems, see what you've been missing. Thompson Center Arms, America's master gun maker. Delta Ag formulations, improving plant performance. Engel Coolers, a legend in reliability. Host Wade Middleton has gone after some dandies in the field over the years here with the Whitetail Diaries crew, and we're taking a look back at some of Wade's biggest and most legendary hunts.
Sometimes a deer will take on mythical proportions around a property. He becomes legendary in his own right. And those are deer that if they get away and they're never seen again, you always wonder about. And if somebody's fortunate enough to get that deer that has risen to that mythical standards, you often sit back and the whole camp looks at it and likes it. And we had a deer out at our camp that had taken on that. You know, early on in some of the early scouting pictures, that deer had been spotted and he was a bruiser. You know, probably close to about 160 when we first saw him. And the first guy that got an arrow into him shot it about 18 yards, had a mechanical broadhead, didn't deploy properly, hit a bone, whatever, but it left a distinct mark on the deer. Broadhead barely even penetrated and the deer ran away. We never saw that deer again. So there was always that nagging doubt, did it do more damage than we thought, but we were all pretty confident it wasn't. So as we went into the third season of this deer, there was a lot of question, what was going to happen. At this point, I really had that deer being probably 7.5 years old. And in a low fence hunting situation in that part of Texas, that's an old deer. And to get to that age was pretty impressive. And everybody had that deer on their list, to include me. And when I sat down one opening morning after a heavy storm and rain and sloshing to the stand, that deer was in the back of my mind, obviously, but he wasn't even anywhere near remotely being thought of being one that would show up. There were several other big bucks that were coming to the Killing Tree Waterhole that we were thinking of. In fact, we thought it was going to be a steady parade of big mature deer that morning, but I guess the rain or us making too much noise getting in, whatever it may be, those deer didn't show. And as the day went on and the sun came up higher, I kind of had this, well, it was a great opening morning set. We saw a lot of deer. But then here comes old Pincushion. The heartbeat started pounding, the blood pressure got up, and it was almost like a surreal moment at that point. I knew the exact distance of where that deer was standing. I had ranged it many, many times in the past, 26.5 yards. And as I raised that crossbow up, I knew exactly. I was waiting for that leg to go to this position where I'd be able to put the bolt exactly where it's at. What's amazing at that point, even as seasoned as I am, my heart was pounding. And Pincushion had risen to such legendary status that after the harvest of him, after I was fortunate to knock this deer down with my crossbow, he actually is featured in a video game. How many deer become famous enough to be in a video game? I think that's just really cool when you sit back and look at it and replay all that. And so when I look at the old Pincushion buck, and he hangs right over the couch at the ranch. He is right there at the couch. When we're watching football, when we're cooking tacos, when we're talking, there's old Pincushion. And old Pincushion had gone down considerably in his age, but he is obviously, and with all respect in the world, one of the most magical, memorable bucks I'll ever take in my life. This is a special deer. I was shaking up in the stand this morning.
More whitetail hunting fun when the Whitetail Diaries returns.
When I'm not hunting, I'm thinking about hunting. It's on my mind because it's in my blood. When the hunt calls, my TC Venture points the way. Accurate, reliable, proven. Until there's no more ground to cover and no more stories to tell. When you're a TC Venture hunter, the hunt never ends.
Since 1996, Frog Togs outerwear have kept outdoorsmen warm and dry, even in the worst of conditions. Now, Frog Togs have expanded beyond hunting and fishing markets and revolutionized the industry with their patented fabric system. Frog Togs are extremely lightweight and portable. They pack easily in your car, boat, RV, and even on your motorcycle. Best of all, Frog Togs are 100% waterproof and windproof, and yet extremely breathable. Check us out online at frogtogs.com. Frog Togs, stop the rain.
Stealth Cam gives you the edge on the most elusive bucks. Capture high-res stills, HD audio and video, or time-lapse imagery. Nothing escapes our sub-1 second trigger with our advanced multi-zone detection grid. With our energy-efficient design, one set of batteries will last up to a full year. Retina low-light sensitivity captures stunning nighttime imagery out to 100 feet. Get all the latest technology in our new G series of scouting cameras. The next generation of Stealth Cam has arrived, delivering technologies you need every hunting season.
After all my years of searching, I finally busted the myth of the Yeti! The Angle High Performance Cooler, it's incredible! Just look at this lid, what a powerhouse! It's so freaking strong, so reliable, I just wanna boom! This silicone gasket's better than rubber!
Why, hello there. Are your base and sidewalls way thicker for superior insulation?
Oh, yes! After 10 days, still cold, still fresh. Let's see a Yeti do that. With Angle Coolers, it's official. The Yeti is busted.
When you change the game, you make the rules. Introducing the all-new Vapor from 10 Point, the most technologically advanced crossbow ever created. 10 Point, there is no substitute.
After your next successful hog hunt, savor the flavor with a Bradley Smoker. They have a whole list of creative recipes dedicated to pork with a wide variety of delicious smoky wood flavors. Find out more about making your meal as memorable as the hunt at BradleySmoker.com.
The Alaskan Series Cooler Packs by Arctic Ice. Specifically designed to keep your food and drinks cold all day long without having to use ice and end up with a soggy lunch. The Alaskan Series by Arctic Ice. Bitterly cold.
Welcome back to the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries with Wade Middleton.
You know, there's a lot of deer in your life that you take. You know, I can sit here and look at many of them, you know, sitting on the ground, taking a big mature 8-point at the Running V that I just thought was a gorgeous deer that now hangs in the lodge. I mean, there's other deer I've taken with my bow. There's just so many of them in your lifetime that you take that all have special memories, but it's the ones that get away at the end of the season or early in the season even that really keep you passionate and excited about the next year. And as the 2013 deer season came to a close recently, you know, we're sitting up in a stand and we were hunting a specific deer that we had 1,800 million billion jillion scouting camera pictures of, but nobody had ever seen with their naked eye. And we had scouting pictures of this deer at multiple stands. And nobody could get into this location or could find this deer. And we got in there the last afternoon of the season, and that's one of those deals that you see the script on TV and those hunting TV shows, and the guy always kills the deer. Well, this is a story of the guy doesn't kill the deer, but we see the deer. And that is the deer that now I can't wait to see leading into the next year. You know, this deer comes in, he mills around, I can see him, the cameraman can't see him, cameraman can see him, I can't see him. The deer beds down and goes to sleep in some brush. There he goes, he's getting up, he's getting up, he's getting up. Can you see him? And then gets up and walks away. And as he walked away, you know, I kind of had a marginal shot, not a shot that I would ever tell anybody to take, and as he walked away, I can promise you, all summer long, I have been thinking, that's Wade's deer. That's the deer he's going to start the season on, and I'm hoping we start to pick up some scouting camera pictures of him. I'm hoping that that's the deer that I can set up on, and in fact, I've already built a pop-up out there and already got some brush cleared where I can bow hunt for him or crossbow hunt for him, and we'll see. Because to me, it's those special moments, it's those special things about the memories of the build-up for the hunt, the memories of what each deer means, and the stories around them that drive me and excite me. Whether it's me hunting or whether it's somebody I'm taking hunting, it's all those stories. It's all the things that go into it that still make me realize I'm one of the luckiest guys alive. I've got to hunt in some incredible places. I've got to hunt on places that we manage. I've got to spend time with some incredible people and see their emotions and both the success and failures of their hunts. And I just can't wait for deer season every year. But in reality, deer season for me lasts all year long because I can look at my mounts, I can look at the pictures, I can climb on my tractor, I can get on my bike, I can do whatever it is in the off season to get ready for deer season and think about what's happening, what's going to come ahead, and what it's going to mean not only to me, but everybody we hunt with.
Hey, thanks for watching. Join us next week, won't you, for another exciting entry in the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries.
If you'd like to keep up with the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries crew, see some of the behind-the-scenes action, as well as be eligible to win some of the prizes, such as the gear we use in the field, it's simple. Go to our Facebook page and give us a like, and one lucky person each year will join us in the field for a great hunt. Baby! Holy cow! That's stalking it hauling across. You working guy to kill these big ones,
That's right, that's right.
Woo!
We gotta work on breakfast. I just put him up in brow time.
He's a biggin'. He's a biggin', that's how you describe him. Yeah, that's exciting.